Hey everybody, we're going to take a look at the gold medal challenges. You have choices of water, usage, or time, like a speed run. What I'm showing you right here is 95% of how I ended my trial and error on a lot of the speed runs. I'm going to be showing my first 5 golds on this video, and then the second video is going to be 3 more golds and a silver that is practically a gold, and you'll see why. So as we're looking through this, the van was great for water and for time. The dirt bike is not worth it. The golf cart, I got the time challenge on, but I did not get the water. I got bronze on that. The motorbike is good for both, and the vintage car also. And the fire truck, that's the one that I got the silver on, and you'll see in the second video why I include that, because it's practically a win. Just at the last second, I just miss one item, and I walk past it a couple times. But if I would have gotten it the first time, I would have gotten the gold. So you'll see that in the second video. Again, the dirt bike, that's there. Really small, tiny parts, kind of hidden parts, and you only have 1 minute and 10 seconds for the speed run. You have, I think it's 4 liters for the water challenge. Just not enough on either. I also wanted to show this. I didn't realize there was 3 tabs up here until very much late in my gold medal runs. So you do, if you want to have like one more option, you have the stunt plane. I did not do well on either of these. I found having to wash the tops and bottoms of all 4 wings, the cockpit having that kind of blue substance on it that was very hard to get off, the propeller section, the rotor section, some of the flaps and the elevators were very hard to clean. So I did not find it easy to use, but you do get the most powerful washer there, and you do get a little bit of metal cleaner soap, but again, it just did not seem like it was enough to do either the 40 liters, the 35 liters, or the time for that one. And then there's the locations. You have the bungalow and the back garden, both decent options for speed runs. I did not even attempt the water challenges on either of those, but if you're struggling on the vehicles, I suggest you give both of those a look. 25 minutes for both of those locations, and I will be showing the bungalow in the second video, because I do actually get gold on it. So here is my first of 5 gold medals. We're going to do the speed run on the van. Pretty simple technique with this one. The van's fairly easy. A couple runs and you should get the hang of it. You have some glass cleaner and you have some metal cleaner. So what I like to do with this one is use the soaps first on the windows, use the second soap on as much of the van as you can before it runs out. What's different between the time challenges and the water challenges is basically you want to use as much water as you can for the time challenges as fast as you can. And then when you're doing the water challenge, it's the exact opposite. Take as much time as you need and use as little water as you can. But this one, we're just trying to get as much area cleaned with the soap as possible. For the most part, a lot of the other time challenges that soap is offered, I usually wait to use the soap until after I've done as much of a quick back and forth clean as possible on the vehicle. For the bungalow, which is the only speed run location I show here in the videos, in the second video, I Don't even use the sprays until right towards the end. The wood spray on the porch, the back porch, the all-purpose spray on the parts of the roof that I can't get from below. And what was the other one? The wood I already talked about. And I actually don't remember what the third one was. We'll take a look at that in the second video. But here we're trying to get the parts that we missed with the soap. The parts that aren't necessarily all metal. The grill there is a little plastic. The bumper and so forth. As you go through these gold medal challenges, you'll get a good feel of what you need to do for the tires to get clean, for the windows to get clean. It always seems like some of the smallest parts are the ones that are the hardest to finally get clean, like the window wipers, the side mirrors, things like that. But with this first vehicle, with the van, it's so much of it is the body. So with most of the things you can clean in PowerWash Simulator, when you get one piece done at about 95-96%, you don't have to go back and get every little piece that you missed. As long as you get all the big chunks, eventually it'll come through, and there's the body done. We found the last door and the final wing mirror, as I said, and there's going for gold. That's the first of 5 gold medals. Next, we have the golf cart time challenge. It's the, I believe, the second shortest speed run time that you can attempt. The dirt bike, of course, 1 minute and 10 seconds. This is 1 minute 45. So, the golf cart's pretty small. It's pretty simple, but there are kind of a couple areas you have to make sure that you get just right. This behind the seat area, the area on the bottom of the car, what is that called? The chassis. Yeah, the chassis. The canopy is fairly simple to get. The bumper area is kind of tricky. And the 4 small items that kind of connect the canopy to the rest of the golf cart take a little bit of TLC, especially those ones in the front, and the steering column. Steering column sometimes does not go as well as it went here, but it's definitely working pretty well for us. Windshield, make sure you get both the front and the back of the windshield, and the canopy, make sure you remember to get under the canopy and on top. If you're in a panic trying to get it done, you might forget, oh wait a minute, there's a whole nother side to the canopy. But there we go, 1 minute 36, almost a full 10 seconds left. The water challenge I found a bit more difficult. You have 4¼ liters before, for your gold attempt, but I do get it in the second video as one of my extra videos here. And here's the water challenge for the van. I want to speed this up so you can see my basic technique, but as you can see, 15 liters going side to side as best that I can. This was why most of the gold medals I'm showing are speed runs, because I am not very good at making straight lines, unfortunately. I do apologize. If you find that you are a lot more accurate with your water spray, I would suggest that you attempt the water challenges. They are a lot less stressful and a lot easier to kind of make a strategy and carry it out and not have to just rush and just close your eyes and spray away and hope for the best, which is what we do for a lot of these time challenges. But unfortunately, yeah, I don't have as much success with the water challenges as I was kind of hoping. I did want to make this kind of a trophy guide for something that people could follow with the water challenges, but I just was very unhappy with how crooked my sprays were and how I could never really get an accurate back and forth and use the least amount of water as possible. So that's why you're not seeing a lot of them, but there will be a few on this video and the next. But with this is try to get as much area as you can going left to right. You can do either left to right, then right to left, or you can just keep going back to your starting point, lining it up, and trying to go as straight as possible. But make sure that you're not wasting water. Don't keep spraying once you get to the end of a corner. And then use the red nozzle. Don't use the blue, because the blue will put out more than you need, to try to get just the right amount of spots on a section so that you can get it to register as fully clean. So we'll let this go. It's long enough, even sped up twice the amount of time, twice the speed here. But we'll let this go, and you can see the rest of the work. We're about halfway here, a little bit more than halfway on the water, but we do get it. So we'll let this ride out while I work on the windows and the other parts. I don't know if you can tell, but I was getting a little cocky there with my water usage. I felt like at 97% I could probably spray a little bit more and then possibly get it done faster. So, and we are we're very, very close to getting this. We're just finishing up the tire here, but still cutting it slightly close, 13.5 liters out of 15, but we did get it. So that was the third gold. Now we're going to take a look at the water challenge for the sidecar, the motorbike with the sidecar. I worked on this one quite a few times. Both the water, well, the water's 15, but the time on this one I think is 6.5, and I felt like I was getting pretty close to getting it done quite often, but it took a lot of work to finally get to where I needed to be to get these done. But you have to kind of become familiar with some of these parts and some of the angles that you need to get to on some of these vehicles. Something that I think is a very valuable tip, something that I didn't quite figure out until I had, I think I had already gotten maybe 4 out of my 5 gold medals for the gold standard trophy. If you are cleaning a vehicle, if you're cleaning even a location, and you have one thing left to finish and you don't know what that thing is, whether it's a fairing or a fuselage or a fender or whatever, obviously some of those words are common knowledge, but what I didn't realize you could do when you're in the pause menu and you're looking at the list of parts and the percentage of which they're clean, you can click on one of those parts. Say you have 6 out of 7 walls done and you need to know which wall is done, or you need to know what that part is and where you can find it, because some of these parts are in completely different places between, say, this bike and the dirt bike and things like that. So if you click on one of the items in the list, then that list will be highlighted in kind of a flashing white kind of color, not like the orange that's representing the dirt, and it will stay flashing until it's actually completed. So that became very helpful towards the end as I was going for more of these gold medals. And it was something, again, that I didn't really know until I'd gotten to this point. So hopefully that information can help you as well. Just want to reiterate, as I mentioned earlier, I believe once we started this challenge here, especially with these bikes, some of these parts, you're going to get the feel for what you need to focus on as far as your time or how much water you're going to need to use. The swing arm on this bike, the exhaust pipes, of course, on both bikes, the underneath of the fender, especially even the dirt bike, a lot of area to cover there and kind of a weird angle that you have to get at. Some of these spokes and little tiny parts hidden away. They're just a little harder to get to and to remember that they're there, you know. Some of them you can't even, some dirt you can't even see unless you're at just the right angle, even if you're highlighting it. So just keep that in mind as you're doing these. And if I didn't mention before, of course, this is sped up double speed because this is the water challenge. No sense in worrying about how much time it took. But we're getting a little closer to the finish line here with this one. I don't know if you'll have the same result, but I found the red nozzle aim to be a little funky at times. Sometimes it would be hitting the vehicle at a completely different spot than I was pointing and where the reticle was. And especially during the water challenge, that is not helpful at all. So, just be aware that the red nozzle is best for getting tiny little areas quickly, but it may end up send you in the wrong direction and have you wasting a few squirts of water in places you don't want to put them. So thanks to some of those misaimed red nozzle hits, this one ended up being a bit of a nail biter. But we got it in the end, 14.87 liters. Again, because I would say probably half a liter at least was wasted by the water not going where it was supposed to go. But speaking of nail biters, this one is a time challenge on the vintage car, and it is a very, very close result that almost cost me the gold. But I'm going to talk you through this a little bit here. This is not sped up. This is in real time. But what I do with the vintage car, because I went over it over and over and over again, I spray back and forth all around the car, trying to get as much of it clean on the initial go. And then we're going to switch to the metal soap, and we're going to spray particular areas in hopes that we can get as much done and completed as possible. You have 6.5 minutes here, and there's a lot of trouble areas. This is one of the few vehicles that have a lot of rust spots in the challenge menu. That is, of course, there's plenty of rusty vehicles and locations and all sorts of stuff in the campaign, but this is one of the more rusty vehicles. This one needs a little bit more tender love and care than, say, the van or the bike with the sidecar or some of the other ones. But this whole area in the front here is very rusted. The 4 side mirrors are rusty. The door hinges, the canopy connectors, canopy hinge, those kind of curved, kind of retro looking things in the back. Well, this whole car is of course retro because it's vintage. But so here we are using the soap. We're using it on the 4 headlights, the 2 horns, the grille, the front bumper, which has a second metal piece behind it. We're getting the bonnet here with the vent area. We're getting around the doors, especially the hinges and the door handles. We're going to try to get the side mirrors a little bit. And then if we have any left, I don't know that I go for it here. I don't think I do. If all of those areas end up being clean, then you could focus on the hubcaps. But you're never going to get all those areas clean. And this thing, oh yes, of course, the shelf and the back bumper, also pretty rusted. Both need a lot of care. And then there's 3 clasps on the trunk you're going to need to clean. So if you run out of the soap, then make sure that you hit them with a little bit of your yellow or red nozzle. Then this right there, that curved piece, that's the canopy hinge. You have to get that at the 3 parts, the 3 kind of knobs, from more than one angle, I found. Mud guard is pretty extensive. It needs a lot of work. All 6 tires, you get your hubcaps that end up going fairly well for us, but then we got to get the tires from usually the front and the back, especially the extra 2 tires. Get around them, and then of course there's straps on those tires. There's the extra side mirrors, which need a lot of extra time and care. I ran this one so many times, and it's the only reason I knew where to go. The canopy, fairly easy. The body, fairly easy, but again, there are sections that are they're going to go a lot better for you if you can hit them with the soap. Of course, they don't give you enough soap to make this easy. So you're just going to have to make do with what you have and focus on your trouble areas. You're going to figure out which areas you're struggling with and what takes you the most time, or what's the 1 to 3 items that you don't finish in time, and maybe try to get those done first so you don't have to worry about them on your next run. The soap helps a ton, so always use the soap on the areas that will help you the most. I think I missed it here. I may have highlighted one of the items. I think maybe the door handle. Yeah, maybe it was highlighted. I didn't notice that, but it's a good way when there's multiple pieces you have to focus on, or if there's 4 items but you have 3 of them cleaned, then if you select it, it will show you the one that you still need to work on. Here we have the bumper, we have the canopy hinges, we know what we need to do there. The headlights, 2 of 4, and the horns, 0 of 2, so I'm probably going to highlight the headlights so I know which ones to focus on. Obviously I know which horns to focus on because they both need it. And I think it's the top one here and the bottom left one, I want to say. The headlights. Nope, top. Some of these angles, very difficult. Alright, the headlights are done. Now we're focusing on the horns. Still have 1 to go. So pausing, checking the menu, or the list I should say, and also hitting the touchpad to swap out different nozzles and so forth stops the time as well. So it's always good. There's nothing wrong with taking a quick breather in the middle of a speed run. You're not hurting yourself at all. Now we're finally down to the last 3 items. We have 3 of the 4 wing mirrors. We have the mud guard, which is a little problematic because mud guard does cover a lot of area, but we get lucky with that. And then all we have left after we finish those 2 items is the wing mirrors. I think I selected, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 of them highlighted so that we know which one to not waste time on. And we listen for that satisfying ding. Once we get that done, we know we can move on. But with only a few seconds left, actually a few tenths of seconds left, we finally get that 4th wing mirror done, and we get our 5th gold medal, giving us the gold standard trophy. And it also gave me the platinum, but we'll save that for another video, and we'll also save the other gold medals for another video. Hope you can come back and watch that. Hope this helps. Take care.